Hey everybody, Kelly Sue here with Cleopatra Arts, and I'm here to paint or talk about the Biggie box for February. So it's always fun. I like to paint a couple pieces or at least one piece live with you guys. It's bees and blooms inspired. Super cute. Super cute. These are super popular. I'm stuck in the super vernacular apparently. I am going to use a little bit of wood finish. This one is natural. It doesn't seem like it might be dark enough. What is this? Red oak. Early American. Maybe the early American. I may mix. We're going to try it. I may mix. I need some wet wipes. That's probably how I'm going to apply it. And it's ready to go. Let's tilt the camera down just a little bit. Do a little upside down action here. Ta-da. Here we go. So there's a hexagon shaped, wait, is it hex? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Is that hex? You guys are gonna have to school me on if that's hexagon or not. Pentagon is 5. I think it is. Cute bee, that's a bee spacer. You don't have to worry about that. Very cute. There is a chunky sign that reads sweet as honey. And then there's a little sign that reads spread kindness. I also am including these little sticky bees. They're tiny little bees and they stick. They're super cute. I love them. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint this one today because I feel like out of all of them, you guys may get stuck with this one, maybe not. This one is simple, simply paint and glue the layers. And it just sits by himself because it's super thick. But John did include some of the stands for you. Okay, so let's take this apart. I'm going to use a new product today. I think it's a Japanese pen. Feng Taiwan pen. I probably didn't say that right. So I'm going to try that today. Instead of a paint pen, I always like to try new products. See, what's going to work, what's not going to work. So if you're going to do the tape trick, just be careful of his antennae. Just because it can get a little fragile there. Hold on a second. Let me take these off this board so that you can see a little bit better on the black. Okay, here we go. So I really love all the detail. You could use a paint pen in there. I wanted to point out that these two notches here, I kept thinking, because, hey, I saw it for the first time, and there's a couple more. I kept thinking, oh, it didn't cut right, but it did. That's just where the legs will sit. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so here we go. So right away, I'm going to do a natural finish at the top. I may darken it up, and on the bottom, I'm going to paint it. So paint it. So I'm going to stop the natural finish right where this line is. So I'm gonna bring out my pencil, and I have 50 of them. Where are they? And I'm gonna draw a line so I know right where to end. Hey, maybe this is a good time to use that pen. Let's see how it works. It worked-ish. It worked-ish. All right, so I'm just using, typically we just water down paint and we use that as a finish, but this gives it a nice gloss, and I thought, well, let me try something new for you guys. I have the natural finish, and it's very, very clear, but it'll deepen the stain, the wood up just a little bit. Okay, we cleaned the studio and got rid of a ton of stuff this week while it's been kind of rainy outside or snowy outside. Tell me what you guys have been doing while it's been snowing out there. It's a perfect time to do spring cleaning or pre-spring cleaning. I'm looking for some skizzers. Oh, here's some. Ta-da! So thanks for joining today. Once you get in, tell me where you're watching from, and is it snowing at your place today? Some of you guys are in Florida, so that's not fair at all. I guess you're having a real bad day if it's snowing in Florida. All right, so I'm gonna flip this over and do a little sample. See if I like the natural look all by itself. You can wear gloves so you don't stain your Oh, it's actually not bad. It deepened the wood right away. Okay, I'm gonna try the other one. I probably should have just brought a spare piece. Ooh, that's pretty dark, guys. Maybe together, maybe ooh. That does not represent this color very well. Ooh, that is pretty drab. So I'm not gonna go that dark because I think the bumblebee being black is going to kind of really mess with everything. I was gonna try to type something because it normally makes me type something, but looks like Facebook's being weird today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that dark one. I'm gonna stay with that natural. That was a really good instinct on my part. I was like, yeah, let's go natural. Okay, toss that aside. And I'm just gonna stain down to the line. And why am I doing this? The honeycomb, if you paint over it, you're not gonna see it very well. It's etched. So either thin your wood real good or go ahead and do this natural, oh, I should probably go with the green. Do this natural finish. So I'm going with the green. Oh, it's really nice. It's really popping. You could do this a couple different times. It's super fast. And don't we all have just gobs of cans of stain, you know, under the kitchen sink or in the garage, wherever you're keeping your stain. There's some good water-based stains. Home Depot and Lowe's have them. There's some gel stains that are really, really nice. There's some milk-based, well, they're calling it milk paint. I see it. It's washable. Also, you can just do that a couple times. That was incredibly fast. Now, all I have to do is paint from the line down. Whatever color I want to peekaboo through. And if you're just joining, we're painting the hex sign from the bee box. Hey, Donna, how are you? Maryland. And it's not clear whether Maryland's getting hammered with the snow, the weather or not. I'm not sure, we haven't talked about that. So hopefully, Donna, you are enjoying a very nice winter. I was gonna say we're getting off kind of easy this winter because John has to plow, well, he gets to plow for the neighbors in the neighborhood. And some years he does it a lot. Last year, not so much. And this year, not so much until this last month. And then it's been a lot. All right, so I gravitate towards cool colors. I really do. But I think it'd be really pretty with the, you know, like a periwinkle under here. I'm picking out a folk art Villa Green. And really it's just a gray green. So make yourself some gray, a really light gray, and put a little green in it. If you like the same color, mint green would be awesome. Turquoise, very nice also. Something that's going to pop with that black and yellow part of the bee. Donna says we were getting it Wednesday through Thursday. 2 days. Hey, Verinda, how you doing? 2 days, and then you probably have had really good weather other than that. I'm trying hard not to be jealous. I love snow. But I was just saying the other day ago, it'd be really nice if we had a Chinook come through. If you don't know what a Chinook is, it's a northerly wind that does come up through California into Canada and then down, and it melts all the snow in just a matter of days. I'm gonna come in with an angle brush. First time ever used angle brush. So if you have a brand new, never used brush before, it's always better to get it damp. Then dry it off, and then the paint won't stick to the bristles as much, you know, and stain it. You know what I mean, stain them. Hold on a second. I see what I'm doing. I should be doing cream here, and I should be doing the green on top. So let me get a, what do you call it, a sponge. I'm just gonna do a sponge, do a light coat, and do several coats. You can use a paintbrush, but the paint can drip down through. And that's okay, but that just means some of you who it will bother, you'll have to sit there and you'll have to like paint, all of that, cleaning up. I'm not real big on the cleanup part of it. Hey Brenda, what are you saying? Oh, doing good today. Sabrina, we just found out Sabrina's just like her mom. Of course she is. So she doesn't normally bake, but she did today, and she made an incredible batch of snickerdoodles. I should say the incredible first batch of snickerdoodles, and this is where she's like her mom, is because I always make an exceptional first batch, and then I kind of like forget about the second batch, and it, you know, burns. Like, have you ever had to make 2 batches of bacon? Okay, can you see this movement here? So I probably wouldn't go side to side, and this is why I paint them live, so we can kind of work out any issues we might have. It's a little fragile because this here, this welded strip isn't that thick. So instead of going side to side where you'll get that stretching, just go up and down. I'm really excited to get to this bee because it has a lot of detail. Normally we just do these really cutesy bees. This one looks way more, you know, realistic. I'm very excited to try. And bees are those things that you either kind of really like them or, you know, you don't. I've only had one person, one of our members, and you need to be a member in order to get this box, say, oh, I don't like bees. I only had one person say that out of, you know, gobs. But since she likes everything else, I was like, oh, I get ya. Ta-da. Okay, so you can paint that as many times as you want. So I'm gonna paint the bottom here cream so that it pops through. You literally could do it the same, but I'm kind of like in my sample photo where it's a different color and it pops through. So I'm gonna just do that, let that dry really quick. Here, I'm gonna bring out that angle brush this time. And if you have a cream you love to use, whether it's light buttermilk or mocha, go ahead and use that. I'll probably just make some. What do I have here? This is a light mocha, but it is a little too much on the brown for me. So I'm just gonna make my own. So I am a big supporter of, yeah, go ahead and buy your little 2-ounce bottles. But if they're not like solid, regular paints, then they're gonna be hard to match. So I like to get some solid colors, and I like to match them, mix and match myself. It's good practice. It's fun. You can't always get to the store. You can mix gold with this if you want, or some yellow and just a little bit of brown, or sometimes I add some gray if I'm looking to get away from the brownish, that mocha look. So just cream. So it is mostly white. So let me know, do you enjoy mixing your own paint colors? It is harder, it really is, to mix them from a formulated paint than it is from like artist paint. And the reason why is that there's always kind of a primer in here. Maybe it's gray. Hey, Karen, Karen's here. Hey, Sherry, Sherry's here. That's Donna saying, little bits. Aw, I love the bees too, girl. As long as they're not stinging me. I have so many stories about the bees stinging me when I was little. They were everywhere. My pony walked into them. Oh, goodness, my Aunt Chrissy lived right there. Okay, so here we go. Pretty happy with that color. Maybe just lighten it up a little bit. So I didn't use all my white. When I see someone mix at paint parties, one of the things they do, I don't want to say wrong, or maybe it's wasteful, is that they mix, if I give them a couple colors, they mix it all together and then they try to adjust. Instead, you see how I still have my half a pile of white? I can still pull from that and utilize that if I needed to. So I don't give them the stink eye at a party. It's a learning curve. Hold on a second. So I have an angle brush. Just means that the paintbrush was cut at an angle. And it allows you to get a nice crisp line if I was going straight. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I'm just going to pull down. Now this has an overlay. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you could do it with a sponge. Oof, but that's not going to be very perfect. Okay, so we tend to try to get the Biggie boxes out around anywhere between, we say the 15th to 18th. Or sometimes a little longer if they're a very, very complicated box. But they should go out Wednesday. You might see some ship on Tuesday. Remember that Monday's a holiday. Remember, John gives me the worst one in the bunch. Ta-da. And as I'm looking at this, I'm wondering if we should have 2 stands. I have to see what he's gonna do about all of these designs. This one comes with a stand. It's super pretty. I already have one of those painted. It's one of my favorite. No, I have another one that's not painted. That's what happens when you clean your studio. Ta-da! Hey, Lori, how you doing? I'm reading. Yeah, it's hard if you don't make enough and then you touch it up and then you're finding you're having to paint further out. So sometimes you have to repaint it all, but sometimes if you paint it further out, you can blend it in. Sometimes I know that Sherry's here and I know she clearly mixes her own. She's super talented. But yeah, I do try to make enough. I try to gauge it. I'm not always on point, and most of that is because sometimes the wood or canvas is drier than you were anticipating. I think I'm gonna go one more coat with that. And then I'm gonna come in here. Now these are fragile, stay away. I'm going to paint this scalloped. We're gonna call it a scalloped edge. You might not agree, you might think it's something else. But I don't know what to call it. And I can go into the bead. It has a 3D piece that's gonna fit onto it. So it's not, I don't have to do really, really hard, painting. Okay, guys, those dogs are just beside themselves. We have bunnies and, I'm gonna call them quail, but I don't know what they're called. They're these little tiny birds with these little tiny crowns that go flop, 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 flop. And there's a whole bunch of those. Penny, be good, girl. And it's been too cold. We haven't walked. I hurt my back. Oh my God, excuse after excuse. We haven't had the regular walking. Poor dogs. Not their fault that they're being turds like this. But that is such a good point, Lori, that yeah, you gotta make sure you're making enough. Or you're gonna have to just paint. I'm filling my holes a little bit. I'm trying to get in there and clean it, but this is a brand new angle brush. And if you get in there and do circles with it, you might do a little damage to it. So I'm trying to be very careful. Hopefully they'll move on to something else they want to bark at. No moose. We've been getting a lot of questions like, hey, is the moose here yet? No moose. They typically move in when the weather is just a little bit calmer. Oh, well, hello, Hazel. Looks like you're going to behave, huh? One of these days I'll put doors on the studio. But then I'll feel like I'm isolated. All right. Ta-da. So I think that'll be a nice contrast. I really love this one too. All right, so here's where all the time is gonna go. So it took no time at all to do the wood stain. And you don't have to go out and buy this. You can just use watered down paint. Works great. If you paint it heavily though, you're gonna miss all these lovely, lovely hex etching that is there. It's really pretty. So you don't want to do that. I'll show you how simple this is. All right, so the wings are etched, okay? And the belly's etched where you're gonna paint the yellow. So personally, I would paint the yellow and then cut in with the black. The yellow I'm gonna use is our yellow, and we call it limoncello. It has a pretty good primer to it. And then I think I may go in with a little bit of a wash of like an orange around the edges just to make it look a little bit more, ta-da, give it a little bit more pizzazz. We'll see though, we will see. And then the wings, I'll do white or a little light silver. And then we're gonna use this pen, honestly it's just a mixed media pen, to do some of the veining. If I don't like it, I can always pick up a paint pen or try to paint it. But I wanted to give you guys a new option, a pen I'm trying from Amazon. I can't pronounce it, guys. Whoop. And it draws pretty good on the painted material. Okay, so I'm just picking up a Princeton #1 from Michael's. Did you guys see that Joann's is closing, going bankrupt? At first I thought they were just closing some stores, but then I saw another internet article and I guess maybe, okay, it's okay if I go over because that black's gonna be fine. At first I just thought that they were just closing a few stores, you know, because real estate's expensive. And if they're doing everything online, I totally get that. But then I ran into another article that said that they're claiming bankruptcy. So I don't think they can do that. I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. Could you guys imagine if I was a lawyer? That'd be so funny. I'd have to take John everywhere I go. You'd have to fight my battles. Okay, so I went right outside the line. I did it twice. If you feel like it's too bright, you can always dull yours down a little bit. It's not a big deal. Definitely after I paint it, no, it's jaggedy, but I can still come in after I paint it, not with this paintbrush, and, you know, add a couple details. All right, so let's just do a black. You could do a bright black, a Mars black, a shiny black. I like the Artist Loft's metallic black. I know, I kind of get stuck in a rut, but I like what I like. It's pretty thick. I'm gonna go back to my angle brush. This one may be too big. It's okay, I buy them in different sizes. I'm gonna go with this one. And you can see, I went my brush first. I went into my paint and it didn't stain my bristles as bad. So your paintbrushes can look nicer for longer. Oh my gosh, I have a story. Oh yeah, you see Lula. Yep, definitely. Winter. I know, Sherry. I know. Whew, we got a lot up here. So I got a little story. So it's a story about Sabrina. Here we go. I don't think she'd mind me telling it. Let me think about it. She might mind me telling it. I know, keep us all waiting. Anticipation. Whoop. Boop, 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 boop. So I'm just going up and down just to mimic the texture or direction that the hair, fur, and surely they got a little fur on them, would go. So I'm just kind of cutting in kind of weird here. I could have painted my wings first. I didn't for whatever reason. There we go. So we had Rooster for Valentine's. It was lovely. We were expecting to have them for a while on Saturday, but Mom and Dad showed up a little early, you know, had breakfast and grab them a little early. So that was a little bummy because we were going to take them sled riding, but it was nice to see the kids too. Okay, now you can't see this because the board's about the same color. But, you know, one coat of the thicker metallic black, and I'm probably going to be pretty satisfied with it. Or, you know, definitely it's okay to pick a different color. Also, it'd be, you know, if you had black basic fluid acrylic, one coat would be great. It'd be super shiny because fluid acrylic tends to have a higher gloss or higher sheen. I got to paint with Sabrina last night because I had to paint the village, the spring village. And I gotta say, thank you for the nice comments about how a lot of people said they liked the colors that we picked, but we liked it when we were painting them. And then when we took the photo, we were both like, oh, I'm not 100% sure that we picked the right colors. So I'll probably paint different colors tomorrow night, and that's fine. Pretty, super easy to paint the sky. And then you could get as crazy with the details as you wanted to. I need to turn them. You know what, when we cleaned my studio, I got a ton of these. I could just spin. Just spin. I know they're lovely. No, I don't sell them. I bought them when we were doing so many clay activities at our brick and mortar. And, you know, ceramics. And boy, I'd had like 25 of these and everyone fought for them. So I just cut in a little bit with the tip. Sounds like there should be, never mind, I'm not gonna say it. Good thing John's not here. Okay, I'm gonna just paint through the center, and then this paintbrush is just the wrong size. So I'm gonna put it away. Just gonna put it away. A much smaller one. I think I'm just gonna go with a round brush. And it's edged, so I'm just gonna go up to that line, and I don't even have to be perfect. I'm kind of just cutting in next to it, so it kind of looks like the furry part of the bee. Just see if you guys can see that. Okay, Lori says what? Lori and oh, is stalking Laura? Oh, really? Yeah, Michael's, man. Yeah, Michael's. I don't know what's going on. They were always kind of like my go-to, and then, you know, I told you guys about the paint pots. I was a little frustrated with that. And they have it, and I just wonder how long they're going to be on board with having a place to go. You know, the real estate. Real estate can be expensive. I get it. Okay. You can do all the highlighting you want. Here's what I want you to know. Be really careful with the antennae. Like, just pretend that they're, you know, sick puppies, and you need to be very delicate with them. Okay, so I'm gonna just make, let me see what I have. Here. What do I have? Any of my metallics? Okay, so I'm gonna pick, for my wings, I'm gonna do white, definitely, but I want it to have just a little pop of color. Winter blue, just a tiny dot of winter blue. Just a little bit, just so they're not just shockingly white. So I'm gonna go back in with my angle brush. Yes, so Hobby Lobby's and they have cute home decor, and their sales are, I mean, you can't beat their sales. My kids go there and stock up for, you know, like the holidays and stuff. You can get a really nice tiered tray there, way cheaper than I can offer. I'm not trying to put myself down, but they just, you know, have the buying power or whatever it is they have. They just got it. Right? And we're not in competition with each other. They're a great company, great product. Okay, so I'm just going really light. I watered down my paint. Why do I care? I want to still be able to see my etching. So I'm gonna hold my paintbrush on the edge, just kind of cut in here. Doesn't even have to be perfect. So for the most part, I like bees. At the cabin, they're super aggressive because the water is right there. My parents have a cabin on Flathead Lake. It's beautiful all of the year except for August, and the bees get really cranky is all I can say. They're doing what bees do. Oh, okay, maybe went too blue. Too blue? They're doing what bees do. And that's the reason why I stopped wearing Bath and Body Works lotion. Like, you know, you'd wash in, you'd have there's these wonderful scents in the shower, and then you come out, and when I wore raspberry, those bees ate me up, so I stopped wearing it. Oh, Brenda, you haven't really been to Hobby Lobby very much, but I mostly get my stuff from, okay. So it cut you off. It you know, I have to click the button to see more. So I'll definitely look at it later. Brenda, I think, well, okay, so when I lived back there, I didn't go to Hobby Lobby. You had to go all the way to Federal Way for that. So I didn't. But here in Spokane, I just get on Highway 27 and I'm there in 6 or 7 minutes. So it's easy for me to get to Hobby Lobby. Here's my only thing. The only day me and Sabrina can take a break together, a date together, is Sunday, and they are not open on Sunday. So occasionally on a Monday night where we're already like filming with you guys, occasionally on a Monday we'll go in right after we film. But it's like, I get it. I understand why you're closed on Sundays, but I'm like, man, you know how much money over the years I forget all the time, and I go in to buy something at Hobby Lobby to just stock up on all my paints. And guess what? They're not open, but they're right next to Cafe Rio. So I go to Cafe Rio, and then I'll go to Michael's. Honestly, haven't been to Joann's very much. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna like dry glue this. That just means I'm putting it together. I'm just gonna show you how it goes. Sherry says, oh, yep, Michael's. I go to Michael's. I like the Michael's now that they have self-checkout because I feel like the line goes a little bit better. But here's where I get frustrated with all of these, and it's not the store's fault. All the stores now have like those big, tall bars on their push carts so that I can't run outside and steal it, you know what I mean? Like the cart won't go out the door. And so that means whatever I buy, I have to be able to carry. And sometimes I throw, you know, a lot of companies buy a lot of canvas kits, and I'm like stocked to the max with these canvas kits, and I have to get some help, get into the car, and I feel kind of lame about that. Okay, so I'm gonna just dry set this together. You can paint this, but you don't have to. And then I'm gonna, hopefully the wings will dry very shortly. I'm gonna be very careful taking the tape off. Okay, I was gonna say, these look like they almost cut all the way through, but they don't. So I was like, that would have been convenient. Okay, so that's what this one looks like, but I'm not done yet. I'm gonna try that new pen and see if I like it. And it comes with this stand. People are always asking me how to use these stands, and you have an uppie and a downy, or a male and a female, and you just go, you put the uppie and the downy, and it's an easel. I paint mine, I'd probably paint it black, and you can use it for a lot of things. Okay, so real quick, I wanna make sure this is completely dry. We're gonna try this pen. If it doesn't work, I have 18 more because I had to buy a box of 18. If it didn't work, then we know, right? So you gotta make sure it's really dry. I really like the winter blue and white mixture for the wings. I didn't want Huron white, and I'm still thinking, you know, like glitter glue, that might be a good thing. I'm not sure yet. I wanted to test this out. Okay, so let's play with this for a little bit, make sure it's working. So think mixed media. Mixed media just means more than one type of art supply, more than one media. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna do some doodles in it. How fun is that? They're already etched. Just some doodles, dots, dots, dots. Just to show some busy work inside the wings. So I think the pen's doing fantastic. It might look like somebody scribbled on there. You can still see because I went light enough with the paint that you can still see the etching. Okay, now on this side, I'm just gonna try to fill in. You know, that's not a good thing to do because some of them are very, oh, in between. Oop, I filled it in. Oh well, don't do that. I'm just gonna round it. So it's kind of like a little road. They're kind of wide. And if you wanted to paint it, I think you could flood the lines real good. I'm just gonna try it this way. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Trying something new. I'm doing this one different than this one. I don't know which one I like better. Okay, so the Biggie box is our subscription box. And so it's every other month. We really wanted you guys to have time to put the projects, to finish your projects. So, you know, you had time. You didn't feel overwhelmed. We want you to consume it. I like this one better. This one I think I could paint over and do it again so it doesn't look like a 5-year-old did it. But you live, you learn. Oh my gosh, so funny. I'm gonna do a little, it'd be nice if I could find these in white. I really think it would. My white paint pens, I swear, I don't know guys. I use them, I can use the black all day long. I use the white and they shred pretty quickly. So I'm not a huge fan, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm gonna come in with a damp sponge. Maybe I'll just use this color and a little bit of the winter blue and white mixture to see if I can just do a little soft. That's a very soft. Okay, hold on. Highlighting. You can also use an angle brush. You could you could flood the edges. It's barely showing, guys. Barely showing. Much better. Careful the antennas. I feel like I have to put a warning. Careful that you don't sting it. Okay. I was thinking about taking a little bit of orange around the outside, just a little bit, like a fire orange. I do have one. So just mix a little red, maybe just orange. I have a terracotta that I make. It's got a little bit of brown in it, so it's not bright orange. You just take it, put a little bit of brown in your orange. I don't use it very much. Here we go. I'm gonna flood it. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna get a smaller paintbrush. It means, or you can call it float if you want. I call it flood. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my damp paintbrush and pull out, it might be too damp, hold on, and pull out here's where wax paper, or I don't want to say palette paper, a paper plate, tin foil works kind of good on that. So I'm just gonna kind of bring that in. I have a little bit too much water. You might have to do this a couple times if you're not getting the vibrancy you want. And just floating a little bit of the orange, just touching the edge there. If you feel like, oh, you've smudged up your black, you can just clean your paintbrush and go in and fix it. Because that's exactly what I did. Okay. Once that dries, and we're just gonna say it's dry, you can just bring in this paint, or I'm sorry, this pen, do tiny, tiny little hairs. We're just giving it more of a realistic fuzzy buzzy. Is that this? That's that. They're not too long. I don't want to utilize all that yellow space. I should have told John, more yellow space. You don't know how much yellow space I'll use. Hi, what's up? Huh? Yeah, you can come in though. It's completely fine.
What?
You can come in.
Oh, I thought I heard Dad in there.
No. How come you're so... Oh, were you outside?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna pick that up. You can see the little tiny lines I made. Yes, Sherry, you could totally do orange. Definitely, definitely. So I'm just gonna pop this together and show you what it looks like. So many layers on this one, but you didn't have to paint them all. Super pretty, cute. It's desktop. It's great. I love it. I'm showing you. Okay, I wanted to quickly talk about the spread kindness sign is really, really self-explanatory. And also in your baggies, you'll find 2 or 3 or 2 little peel and stick bees. And they're super cute. You don't have to use them. Give them to your kids or whatever if you have them, or save them for like, you know, like if you're a, what do you call it? What is it? Paper, the paper stuff. No, when you do work and with the photos and scrapbooking. Oh, wow. Stay at school, kids. Scrapping. Okay, so you're going to take so it's basically super simple, but if you've never done this one before, this style before, you might get a little confused. So you're just going to take all of the letters off, put it on your piece of tape. That way they're super easy to paint with a sponge. And, you know, like if you're painting with a glass of wine, you know, and you lose a letter, this way you won't lose a letter if you have a couple glasses of wine. Let's put it that way. That's probably a little bit more appropriate. Okay, this one you can put as much detail in as you want. Okay, so this is the top board. I just want to show you how they go together. Okay, the bottom board. The only part you really need to paint is like half of this board down. Why? Because the next piece covers it. It's just the peekaboo pieces, like the piano pieces that are peeking through. That's the only piece you have to paint. And then if you like the one I have here, it's just the same stain that I used on my bee. You're just gonna stain it. Then you're just gonna paint your letters. The next layer is, hold on a second, is this one with the scallop. And then the one that's gonna hold the flower. I would buy yourself a couple, couple chip clips, because when you glue them together, you're gonna want to make sure it's perfectly in order, and you're gonna chip clip it for a couple hours on all 4 corners is what I would do. And then all you have to do is paint your flower and your words and assemble them. So the most important thing is not to overpaint these honeycombs. You want them to just stand out and be bright and, you know, just gorgeous, right? So basically, and then the spread kindness is just a super simple, cute little, what do you call it? For your desk, a desk decor for you. This is where I'd probably put the bees. This is very fragile font, so be very careful on the paints, on the tape, excuse me, on the tape for that. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you is if you're gonna want to use a kickstand on this, and you might not have to because it's already an inch thick, this is how they go. You can just use one, and you can also use one on your spread kindness if you want, or you can use two. But I probably use one on this and one on my spread kindness. And I would glue this near the bottom, but give yourself a little tiny gap that helps. And then the kickstand goes in like a piece of pie, and that helps it, you know, like it kickstands it up. I think you guys get that. But when I just hand you these, you're like, what do I do with that? I don't glue the piece of pie in. I use some glue dots, and that way I can clean them up and lay it flat for storage. I know I've said that a million times, but I still, if somebody's new, I like to explain that to them. So I just wanted to give a little resource for our Biggie box. I think we still have a few left. If you wanted to get in on that, every other month we have a theme. This month is bees and blooms. Go figure. I know. I was like, hey guys, is it too? And I asked on a Monday night. I'm like, is it too early to do bees? I just want to do this one because the designs are so gorgeous. And you guys were all like, yes, let's do the bees and blooms. So I'm super excited about that. So super cute. It's a little smaller, but it has so many layers that we had to cut it down this size to still make it work for us. We're here tomorrow night. We're going to be painting the three villages pieces right there. They're Spring Village. Hope you guys can join us. And thanks for watching today. Bye, guys.